All right, we're back. Welcome to Canada. Yay! It's not raining in Canada today, so that's good. We picked the right day to join this tournament. Swiatek's playing against Bejlek, which could be awkward. Bejlek is a very dangerous young player. She won a 500 earlier in the year. Swiatek kind of needs form. She played at Wimbledon, lost to Eala. That was her last match. They're now taking on another young gun. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be tough. We got a big day today. We've got Sabalenka coming on later as well. So, yeah. And we're going to watch Rublev taking on Zhang as well, which is over in Montreal. So, hopefully it's not raining in Montreal. So, yeah, big day. Big day. Because this tournament started on Sunday. So, when we were watching all the rainfall, this tournament was trying to start. And then, of course, yesterday when we were watching the finals of Washington, this tournament was started. It was going on. So, yeah, we're already 3 days into this tournament, which is a bit strange. What else we got here? Nisimova's playing later today. We've got... Who else is playing today? Oh, Hurkacz is playing right now. Tsitsipas is playing right now. Kaboli is playing today. Yeah. Monfils played yesterday. Demonor's playing today. So, yeah, busy day today. Busy day. No, I was awake when Svitolina lost. She is having... Well, I know she's lost to Eala twice, but if you take a step back, she is not having a good time. She's had a lot... I mean, she had a strange loss at Wimbledon. She's had a strange... Like, losing to Buzzes Minero is just... That's a bad loss for her. That's bad. That's a bad loss. So Svitolina is not in form at all. Yeah. Svitolina is in a tough spot. After having a great start to the season, she's had a tough couple of tournaments. Since the French Open, she's lost to Eala twice. She's lost to Wong, Sneor, and Minero. She did have I mean, she didn't lose to Wong. She had to retire. But, yeah, I wonder if that retirement, I wonder if she's not 100% and she has to play because she has to play. I mean, she didn't have to play Washington, to be fair. She didn't have to play Washington. But, yeah, she's had a couple of... She lost to Kostruk at Roland Garros. She won Rome, like, 2 months ago. So, it's not like she's having a bad time. Like, she's had a bad season. She had a great season. So, yeah, very strange. Svitolina. She's only won one of her last 5 matches. So, yeah, Svitolina is in a little bit of a funk at the moment. Svitolina had an insane Rome tournament, but it seems like she's... Yeah, I wonder if she's hurt. I wonder if she's carrying an injury. Didn't look like it when we watched her play Eala, but you wonder if maybe she's dealing... whatever she pulled out of Baden-Berg with pre-Wimbledon, if that is bothering her. Because even in Washington, didn't she have a really tough first round? Didn't she have she played... We watched her. She played Kudermetova and it was a battle. So yeah, you wonder if maybe she's dealing with something. I don't know. But yeah, not being in good form lately. I mean, look, that happens, right? Sometimes you catch fire like Eala. Sometimes you lose 2 matches in a row and you feel like everything's going terribly, and then you lose more, right? Because that happens too. When you're winning, you win. When you're losing, you lose. I mean, you can go on those kind of losing streaks as well. I think Dasher is a better round 2 opponent for Raducanu than Wong. Yeah, I mean, not for Dasher though. That fucking sucks. But I guess if you're a Raducanu fan, it's better. I'm so happy that Dasher won. That was such a crazy match. Coming back from a breakdown in second and third, I mean, it was intense. I think Wong served for the match twice. Great win for Dasha. I think that's her first. Is that her second? Her first win, main draw win after getting married. I think she played last week and lost. But why do I feel nervous here for Swiatek? You should, because Bejlek is scary. Bejlek is an intense young left-hander. No fear, very, very dangerous. And this could not. I mean, Bejlek won Abu Dhabi at the start of the year, a 500 event, which she ran through the field, and I think was she a quali or she was a wild card. I think she was a qualifier. So yeah, Bejlek is dangerous. This is a dangerous match for Swiatek. Part of the reason why we're watching it, because we always watch Iga, but more so with this matchup. It's very scary. I'm still going to go Swiatek to win, but... Oh, wait. Svitolina hasn't lost yet. Or did she lose? Or is she losing? Oh, she's losing. Oh, here we go. Chat, you just made me write a eulogy for somebody who's not dead. What are you doing? Chat, what are we doing? Come on. She's not even out yet. What are we talking about? What are you telling me that she lost? Come on now. Backhand goes in the forehand of Bejlek. Bejlek serving first. Slice goes in for Swiatek. Bejlek drop shot. Swiatek slice. Bejlek volley. Swiatek backhand winner up the line. Good rally to start. Love 15. She's losing. Now she's going to come back and win, and everything I just said was stupid. Fuck. Thanks a lot, chat. Maybe look dumb on day one. Ugh. People are going to rewatch this and write... People are going to write in the comments, Cam, she didn't even lose. What are you talking about? That's the last thing I need is that. Bloody hell. Anyways, love 30 Swiatek. Come on now. All right. Love 30. As Bejlek serves. Into the forehand of Swiatek. Return goes back to Bejlek. Swiatek. Forehand again, the back to Bejlek. As Swiatek forehand goes in the forehand of Bejlek. To the forehand of Swiatek again. Bejlek. Definitely picking on the Swiatek forehand. I don't know if that's a good idea. Backhand again. Into the forehand of Swiatek. Swiatek in the net. Bejlek with a shake of the fist. 15-30. Yeah, Bejlek's definitely targeting the Swiatek forehand. Do you think it's because Iga can't handle the pressure? No, I mean she can. She's been able to handle pressure before. I don't think it's about handling pressure that much. Is it a forehand? Swiatek up the line. The forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek hits a winner, and it's 15-40. Look, Madrid, she retired, so that doesn't really count. But since Miami, right, over the clay and grass season, she lost to Andreeva. Okay, that's not a bad loss. Svitolina, that's not a bad loss. Kostyuk at the French, not a bad loss. Navarro and Baden-Berg. Navarro, we know how dangerous she is. And then Eala, who's in red-hot form. So, Swiatek gets a return winner. Wow. She breaks. Yeah, is she as dominant as she was, 3-4 years ago? No. Everybody else has gotten better. And players don't fear Swiatek as much. I think that's what it is. She's kind of lost her fear, her intimidation. She's not as scary to most players. Like, players don't fear her as much, right? And maybe that deal, maybe there's a little bit of a confidence issue there that she's more worried about more players now, whereas back, 4 years ago, she was, even 2 years ago, she wasn't scared of many players. Right? She was like, oh, okay, Raducanu, Penko, Sabalenka. They were the players that she didn't want to play. Now, there's a lot more players that think they have a chance against Swiatek and they rate their chances, right? Svitolina couldn't beat Swiatek for the longest time, and now she's beaten her twice this year, right? Navarro was always dangerous. We always knew Eala could beat Swiatek. We saw that. Andreeva as well. Andreeva was always, the last few years has pushed Swiatek. So again, not, and she lost to Raducanu at the Australian Open. I mean, Swiatek's season hasn't been bad. It just hasn't been as good as she's done before. Like, it's a decent season. 23 wins, 12 losses. Hasn't got a title yet, but, I mean, the players that she's lost to this year. Gauff, Bencic, Raducanu, Sakkari, Svitolina, Andreeva, Navarro, Kostyuk. Lee was a retirement win, which doesn't really count. She lost to Eala and Linette. Linette's a weird one. Sakkari was strange at the time, but Sakkari's like former top 3 player, right? I mean, she's lost a lot of former top 10 players. But again, those players weren't beating her a couple years ago. That's probably the biggest difference, right? Everybody's gotten better. Swiatek's not gotten worse. She's just probably not gotten, if the gap was this, everybody got better, Swiatek got better like this, right? So the gap is still, it's a lot, there's a lot more players that are, that think they can beat Swiatek now. And that, she's not bageling and wiping people off the court as well like she used to, right? Except for that match against Pegula. That was a crazy match in Rome. That was the one where it was like, oh, she's back. Is it a 4 up the line Swiatek? I mean, she might do it here. 40 love. This is better. this is the Swiatek we all remember. 40 love. I got a weird feeling that Krejcikova is going to win Cincinnati. Maybe. I mean, it'll depend on a draw. Yeah, she lost the fear factor. Yeah. Yeah. All right, serving to the forehand of Bejlek. Bejlek hits it out. 2 love. Also, I think we got to remember with Swiatek as well. She's going through a bit of a, she had Vitorovsky, right? Then she went with Fizet, who they tried to change her game and went to more of an aggressive game, try to beef up her serve, try to attack returns, try to play a little bit more aggressive to then compete against the Raducanas and the Sabalenkas, right? At least that's what it looked like from an outside, right? She went from really, really consistent, limited errors. Her serve was vulnerable though. We saw that when she played Raducanu back in 24. But other than that, she was it was a pretty solid game. And then she gets Fizet in, and they try and be a little bit more aggressive. They're trying to work on the weaknesses or what she thought it was weakness against certain players. But those changes allowed players like Gauff to start winning, and other players that weren't beating her started to beat her, right? Because she started to play this other game, which was more, error prone. And now that she's got Royce in the box, he wants to bring it, or they want to bring it back to what it was like with Vitorovsky. So she's got to, the habits that she gained over those 2 years with Fizet, she's got to try and unlearn those, or try and implement those when she feels it, because she's always, it's good to use that game event, sometimes, but she's got to try and unlearn that. Why is there an ad for Ozempic? What the fuck? That's so weird. Anyways, what the hell are we doing here? What the hell? Anyways, love 30. All right, Canada's gone crazy. Anyway, so then just see the big words. I'm like, what? What am I watching? Anyway, so yeah, so I think they're it's sort of in that period right now where they're trying to, regain the consistency, unlearn a couple of things, All right, love 30. There's a bit of backing from Bejlek. Into the forehand. Swiatek up the line. Bejlek forehand cross court goes wide. I'll tell you. Swiatek. Thing is, if she does it against Bejlek, that's really impressive. There's bigger fish to fry. But this is how she should be dealing with these first rounds. Who's in her draw? I haven't really looked at Swiatek's draw much. This Vekic. Ooh, Vekic, Kostruk, and Keys. Ooh. So it isn't an easy draw. And then Pegula. I tell you, wouldn't mind her playing Pegula in the quarters. But she's got to get. I mean, there's some killers in her draw. Vekic, Keys, and Kostruk. They're all very dangerous. If she's able to get through this draw to the quarterfinals in straight sets, that would be incredible. Anyways, Bejlek hits a smash, 15-40. Used to be the bagel queen, yeah. I mean, she used to 6-1, 6-love, a lot more. But then, like I said, everybody else is sort of players aren't as scared of Swiatek as they were when she was doing that to everybody, because she was doing that to the top players, right? She was doing it to the number 5 in the world. She was double bageling and doing crazy shit to those players. Double fault. There's the double break. Very love. Vekic is the ultimate wild card these days because you don't know when what you'll get from her match to match. Yeah, she could be super, super scary, or she could hit some errors. You're right. All right. Double break, 3-love. What do I think about Venus getting a wild card in Cincy? Yeah. I'm not surprised. And it doesn't make me sad. I'm not bothered by it. It's fine. Yeah. Why? Is there like people crying about it? Probably, right? I'll say it every time that Venus gets a wild card. It's Venus Williams. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Venus Williams getting a wild card. Yeah. If I'm a tournament director, I'm trying to get the Williams sisters to play every tournament as well. I don't care if she's on a 14-match losing streak. It's Venus Williams. Like, people are going to come to the tennis to watch Venus. So, And people are going to cry about, like, oh, but what about the young players? What about what are you talking about? Wild cards are, there to, are there, they're given to players that can, promote the tournament as well. Not just young talent. Plus, there's a lot of young American talent that's already doing really well. So I don't think they need to promote American tennis. American tennis is doing pretty well. What, are you going to give a wild card to Jovic? She's already there. You don't need to give her a wild card, right? There's a million Americans. You don't need to, like... Plus, you can give, it's not just one wild card per tournament. There's like, 6? So, yeah. People cry, about Venus, but if you're a tournament director, you do the same. Love 15. There's a bit of fault second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Bejlek. Return goes to forehand of Swiatek, who shanks it wide. It's love 30. It's like Cristiano Ronaldo playing for Portugal this World Cup, right? It's like, yeah, okay. Did he help Portugal do well? Not really. But it's Cristiano Ronaldo. Like what are you gonna do? As with a serve into the backhand of Bejlek. Swiatek forehand again. The backhand of Bejlek. Bejlek in the net. 15-30. Like, who doesn't want to see Cristiano Ronaldo playing the World Cup, even if he doesn't do what he used to do. Maybe not. Maybe the Portuguese. maybe Portugal doesn't want to see it because it might not have helped them as much as it could have. But still, who doesn't want to see LeBron play for Philly? Like it's. What's the alternative? They retire, and then what? 30-all. Swiatek serves again. Fault, second serve. Oh, Alexandra Eala's losing as well. All right, serve. And the return goes back end of Swiatek, and then Bejlek hits it long. 40-30. I think it's valid if she gets a wild card. I'd watch her. I'd like to watch her. It would be different if she clearly unable to compete, like if Navratilova came back. Well, yeah. Yeah. But this is the thing, right? I mean, Venus has lost a lot of matches in the last 12 months, but like the tournament that gives her a wild card and she gets that win, it's going to be great. It's almost like they're it's almost like all the tournaments are playing this game of like who's gonna get Venus when she gets that win, because she's gonna win one more match at least, right? She almost did in Baden-Württemberg, but like every tournament she wants to play, she'll get a wild card for because she's Venus. But the one time that she wins, like let's say she wins in Cincy, right, the first round match, that's great for the tournament. So every tournament's going to want to be the tournament, right? They want to be the tournament that have Venus in the draw when she gets that win, because when she gets that win, the whole world's going to go crazy and be like, wow, at her age winning a match, that's incredible. Where was it? Oh, it was in Cincinnati. Wow, that's amazing. And then they're going to tune into the next match. So it's like it's like they're playing the lottery, right? They're playing the lottery with Venus, and which tournament's gonna get her, is gonna be the one who hosts her next win, right? Because it's gonna be huge when she wins another one. She's not gonna win the tournament, but she's gonna win if she wins a match. That is crazy, right? That's gonna be crazy, and the whole world's gonna go nuts. 4-love Swiatek. So, like, again, you don't want to be the tournament that misses out on that opportunity, right? You don't want to be the one that's like, oh, no, we're not going to give her a wild card. And I guess Wimbledon gambled on Serena, and they almost won, right? They got Serena the wild card, right? But I think if Serena didn't play Wimbledon, she would have got Venus would have got the wild card. But again, like, you got to think of it like a tournament director as well. You can't just be like, oh, well, she doesn't win, so why would she get one? Yeah, but you're not the tournament director. You got to think of like, okay, if you're running a tournament and Venus Williams is on the table to play, but she needs a wild card, you got to like, it's a no-brainer. Anyways, 15-love, Swiatek gets it out. 4-love, Swiatek. Plus, Venus does play doubles. And she does win doubles matches. She has been good at doubles. So you're still giving her a chance to play the dubs. And she's playing doubles with Serena in Cincinnati as well. Hopefully. So Venus gets wildcards because of her exceptional achievements, commercial value, and fan interest. 100%. 100%. Oh, what a return by Swiatek up the line. Great shot. Oh, Tsitsipas going to play Fonseca. Ooh, okay. Okay. That's going to be a good matchup. That's going to be... Oh, I'm interested to see that. I wonder if Steph's gonna... Have they played before? They haven't played yet, have they? That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun one, that one. I wonder if Steph's going to be on edge tomorrow. He might be when they play. Might be a little. Sometimes when he's played these younger guys, he gets a little like aggressive. I wonder if he's going to be aggressive. and like pissed off, like, oh, this bloody kid, like he was when he played Alcaraz for the first time. Could be a fiery one. All right, 30-15. Especially if there's a crowd, like a Brazilian crowd. Steph could get a bit punchy. All right, Bejlek, 40-15 to get on the board. Oh, they played in Davis Cup and Fonseca won. Oh, okay. So they have got some history. As it a backhand now to the forehand Swiatek. Bejlek forehand again to the forehand Swiatek. Bejlek cross-court forehand to the backhand of Swiatek. Bejlek in control. Swiatek back up a line. Great shot. Bejlek slices it back. Swiatek forehand again. The slice of Bejlek. There's another forehand from Swiatek. Bejlek backhand goes long. It's 40-30. 40-30. By the way, to the guy that keeps on telling me what to do, just because you're a member doesn't mean you won't get permanently banned. So just like, you've had enough chances, I think. Just be chill, man. All right. 40-30. As the backhand return goes forehand off. Bejlek. Bejlek in the net. We get the deuce. Fonzie with a win, but he needs to focus. Yeah. I tell you. I mean, Steph also kind of, I mean, I think Fonseca would be the favorite, right? But yeah, I mean, I could see Steph making it tough. It feels like we haven't watched Fonseca for a while as well, so it'd be good to watch that one. Tomorrow we've got Eala. Tomorrow night, I don't know what we got during the day though. As that goes wide by Bejlek and it's advantage Swiatek. By the way, did anyone else hear what Zverev had to say in the press conference about Djokovic not playing Canada? I thought it was very. I'll tell you this: Zverev is very. Like he says it how it is. He's very straightforward. He doesn't muck around with these words. When it comes to like these tournaments, as we're to slice now into the forehand of Swiatek. Swiatek gets it out back to deuce. Like he doesn't. He doesn't. He says it. If he doesn't like something, tell you. I don't know what the question was because I only heard the answer, but it was regarding like I guess players not playing this tournament, and he was saying, well, like why would Djokovic play this tournament if he doesn't want to? Because what he needs, the extra bonus prize. Because remember, if you don't play the 1000s, the mandatory ones, right? Is you're ineligible to get the bonus at the end of the year, which is like the bonus prize pool of whatever it is. You can look up the percentages. Was it a backhand from Bejlek into the forehand of Swiatek? Forehand now from Bejlek into the Swiatek backhand as Bejlek goes up the line and wide. Advantage Swiatek. And he was just saying like, yeah, you really think Djokovic cares about getting an extra couple of 100,000 bonus? He goes, and he said he goes, and this is true again. Like he goes, I don't think Djokovic cares about that bonus prize, but also he doesn't care about his ranking that much. None of that really matters to him these days. And I'm like, yeah, this is like, yeah, it's very exactly what we all think, right? Like, yeah, Djokovic doesn't care if like he doesn't get the bonus prize because he didn't play every tournament, and even Zverev was like, it's hard. You play 2 weeks at a slam and then you got to play 2-week Masters. It's too much. I wish more people were saying things like Zverev because Zverev, is right. As with an inside backhand Swiatek winner, 5-love Swiatek. you know. But he's right. I mean, Zverev's right. You know, 2-week Masters along with 2-week slams. Also, it's interesting too, because then I was thinking, I don't know what's, I only heard that one response, but it's interesting because they've changed the format of the tour, but they haven't changed the rules, right? So all these mandatory 1000s were, that rule, the mandatory 1000 rule was brought in because everything was 1 week, except for Indian Wells and Miami. So you had to play every tournament. But now that everything's 2 weeks, they've got to change, they haven't changed the rules. So they need to change. Like, they can't expect, like, oh, you've got to play. Like, I mean, how many weeks were there? So there was 4 weeks in March for 2 1000s, and then there was, what, another 7? So you've got to play, like, mandatory, right, for the 1000s. You've got to play, like, Rome, Madrid, Cincinnati, Canada, Paris, Shanghai, and then you got to play 10 weeks a year, right? Mandatory, right? Monte Carlo is not mandatory. But now, because everything's gone up 2 weeks, so Shanghai, you add an extra week. That's 11 weeks mandatory. Canada's added a week. Cincinnati's added a week. Rome and Madrid. So you've got to play an extra 5 weeks because everything's mandatory, right? And that's, we don't even know if Paris is going to change. And then you've got, I know a non-mandatory is coming in for Saudi. So that's, I guess, but still, you know, you don't have to play, but it's 1,000 points. Like, don't have to play, but you're missing out, you know? And the prize money is probably going to be ridiculous. So, like, but they've upgraded everything. I don't know if have they changed the rules? Because everything's still mandatory, but everything's been doubled up. So, like, now the mandatory weeks have gone from 10 to 15, you know, for the players. And, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem... They need to, like, adjust that. Or adjust the 2-week tournaments, right? And it's funny, I was reading some of the comments on the video, and it was like, none of the players like 2-week Masters. None of the fans like 2-week Masters. Nobody likes these tournaments. Like, what are we doing? And it's true. I mean, how many times have I bitched about 2-week Masters? Canada shouldn't be 2 weeks. Like, this shouldn't be 2 weeks. We don't need 2 weeks to finish Canada. Anyways, Swiatek 7 for a bagel. But go listen to what Zverev had to say in the press, because you know, he's right. You know, he is right about, you know, Djokovic not needing to play here. Like, the incentive to play these tournaments is not there. Too many tournaments and too many burnouts. Oh yeah, for sure. Coco's playing during the day. Oh, good. We'll probably watch her as well. Into the backhand return. Into the backhand Swiatek. Cross court in the front of Bejlek. 15-0. Bejlek hits it long. 30-15. Canada is mandatory, yeah. So when it's mandatory, what does that mean? So it means that if you don't play it, then you lose the opportunity to get a bonus prize at the end of the year, which is, like, there's a bonus prize pool that the ATP and WTA, I don't know if the WTA do it, but the ATP put away, like, a certain amount of funds, so that at the end of the year, if you tick all the boxes, you play all these tournaments, you do all these things, you then get a piece of that pie. Depending on your ranking, I think if it's like top 10, you get a certain amount. If it's top 20, you get a certain amount. I think that's how it works. I've got to double check. But if you don't tick all those boxes, you don't meet the requirements, right, by playing all the 1000s except for Monte Carlo, then you don't have an opportunity to be a part of that conversation. Now, if you're outside the top 50, of course you want a piece of that pie. But if you're Novak Djokovic, I don't think you don't need the extra money. Like, it's not a big deal, right? If you're Alcaraz and Sinner, you don't need that, right? It's not like that's not enough incentive to be like, yeah, I need to play everything because I need that extra paycheck. Like, they don't need that, especially when they play the Six Kings Slam and make more than, they would if they want to slam. Anyways, Swiatek with a great serve, and it's a bagel. 6-love, what we were talking about earlier. Bagel Swiatek. All right. So yeah, I'll just have going through this. So having a look here at the bonus prize from last year. So last year there was a $24 million pool of bonus prize. 8.7 of that went back to the tournaments. So I guess the people that don't meet the requirements, their paychecks go back to the tournament. So if you don't play, the tournament doesn't get like Canada, even though they don't have like Sinner, Alcaraz, or Djokovic, they're gonna get compensated for not having them, if that makes sense. So yeah, Alcaraz's hang on, does it give out the actual numbers? No, it just says that there's prize money. Okay. Anyway, Swiatek, 7 winners, 3 errors, 2 winners and 7 errors from Bejlek. Bejlek only won 11 points. But yeah, Swiatek, that's more like it. That is more like it. That is much more like it. All right, so here we go on the website. So it says, yeah, it's $21 million in bonus pool, like money for the tour. And that is split amongst, where is it? Okay, so here we go. So it's allocated, 21 million. So it's between the top 30 players. I think it's if you're in the top 30 at the end of the season. I think that's the why are they making me watch a video? I just want to read it out. I don't want to watch a video. Oh, they've got the that guy that does the drawing videos. That's cool. So yeah, so depending on your ranking is how much you get at the end of the year. If you're in the top 30, then you get a certain amount of prize if you meet the requirements, right? If you play all the 1000s. If you don't play the 1000s and you finish, number 2 in the world, then your prize of like $2 million or whatever goes back to the tournaments, right? So that's how, I think that's how, like a simple version of how it works. I think that's sort of like the simple. So yeah, at the end of the year when the rankings are set, 1 to 30, whoever and every number gets a different amount, I think, or maybe it's like the top 10 get a different amount and then 11 to 15 get the same. They didn't break it down properly in that video, but if you don't meet the requirements, your money gets dispersed back into the tournaments because you didn't play those tournaments, so they get it. But again, like Zero was saying in the press, Djokovic doesn't does Djokovic really care about that? No. Because he's he's doing plenty fine, Same with the other big guys. Especially, it's like, okay, do I get that bonus prize at the end of the year? At what cost? At the cost of me, my ranking, so my my fitness? Of course. Like why would he play Canada and then risk getting hurt? Like at 39, why would he do that? 4-1 goes up the line and long by Swiatek, 4-15. Anyways. So that, again, goes back to, 2-week Masters being... Again, I think Canada would attract more players on the men's side if it was 1 week. For sure. 1 week Canada Masters would be much more appealing to a lot more players. All right, 40-15. Is it a backhand for Bejlek? Goes long, 40-30. But I tell you, here's the thing, though. Of course, Canada doesn't want to go back to 1 week because then they're going to lose out. Even if they don't have Djokovic and Sinner, they're still going to, and Alcaraz, they're probably still going to make more with 2 weeks than 1 week, even if they don't have those guys. So it's like, what do you do? And like we said last week, I don't think the ATP president is very like his one vision. As we double fault Deuce, his one vision is about making marquee events on the ATP. So I don't think they're going to go to 1 week Masters anytime soon, because that's not part of the one vision. It'd have to be somebody else comes in, and I'll tell you, it might be a former player. Maybe like, I don't know, Djokovic in 10 years. He retires, and then he becomes the ATP president, and he goes, you know what? We're going to be player focused. So it might be someone like that, right? You might need something like that to happen for the 1 week Masters to be back. You need a player conscious. You need someone who's a former player, like top player, who had to deal with all this. And they come in and say, hey, yeah, we're not, like, the tournaments need to realize that the players need rest. Like, that's probably what. That's the only. I think that's the only way I see they go back to 1 week Masters for some of them. But that won't be for a while. That'll be like 10 years from now, because they're probably not losing money. As we're backhand now from Bejlek, advantage Swiatek here. As Bejlek backhand goes in the forehand Swiatek. Into the forehand Bejlek, as Swiatek forehand goes again to the forehand Bejlek. And Bejlek hits it long. Swiatek, I tell you, Bejlek's had a couple of chances to get on the board, like 40-15, but hasn't got it done. And Swiatek is now 7 games in a row. Canada may just have to get used to top players withdrawing. Yeah, I mean, it's not unusual that's been. I mean, probably the last. I'd say the last maybe 3-4 years, it's been happening. You know, post GOAT era. Because remember, the incentive for Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer to play Canada was to get another 1,000 to then try and, you know, catch each other. Right? They were trying to play that game of who's going to have the most 1,000s. Now that that's over, Djokovic doesn't need to go play that game because he's got the most. You know, because Nadal would always play Canada. He would always play Canada. So, like, it kind of forced Djokovic to, like, oh, well, I want to try and, you know, there was that, you know, just like the Grand Slam, you know, competition, right? They're trying to beat each other. That's gone now. There's no incentive for him to be like, oh, well, why do I need to play all the 1,000s? Because I'm already the king. For Alcaraz and Sinner, I think Alcaraz would have played Canada if he was healthy. But Sinner's won all the 1,000s right now, and he's won all the 1,000s. So he's thinking, well, I just won Wimbledon. I played a lot of tennis. Like, I'm just going to chill. And I'm just going to get... My ranking is safe, right? He's number 1 by a mile. So, yeah, Sinner doesn't have an incentive to play. You know, it doesn't help his you know, he's played a lot already. 30 love. We have a look. I don't feel like Federer played Canada that much towards the end. I don't feel like I remember since I know Nadal played Canada a lot. We watched him play Canada in like 2019, 2020. As that goes in from Swiatek, lovely backhand. Sorry, 2021 because they didn't play in 2020. Like last year, Alcaraz didn't play. They did have Sinner, but no Djokovic. And Sinner lost in the quarters not last year, in 24. Alcaraz played in 2023. Sinner won the whole thing. Djokovic didn't play. 2022. No Djokovic, no Nadal, no Zverev. But Zverev had the injury, right? 40-15. Alcaraz and Sinner played, but they lost early. And Carreño Busta won the whole thing. And then 2021, Nadal withdrew with a foot injury. Djokovic didn't play. Medvedev won the whole thing. No Alcaraz, no Sinner. Well, Sinner lost second round. And then 2019, Nadal won the whole thing. But again, no Djokovic. And then 2018, Nadal won the whole thing. Team Zverev played, no Djokovic. Oh, Djokovic did play. So Djokovic last time played Canada was 2018. That's crazy. And Nadal was pretty committed. And again, I didn't mention Federer once. Federer wasn't there once. So yeah, Djokovic hasn't played this tournament since 2018. And he hasn't won this tournament since 2016. So he's played it once in the last 10 years, Djokovic. And he's only played that third and lost in the third round. So yeah. Djokovic has only played this once in 10 years. That's crazy. It's by far his least. Like, he's only played 11 times in his career, which is only Madrid is less. Only Madrid is the next one at 13. To be fair, most of since 2020, Djokovic has been he didn't play Miami that much. He hasn't played Canada. He's only played Madrid twice. He's only played Cincinnati twice. So he hasn't played that much, to be fair, but interesting. When did Federer last play? Oh, the last time Federer played Canada was 2017. Lost in the final to Zverev. Nadal, third round. Djokovic didn't play because he was injured. 2016, Djokovic won the whole thing. Nadal and Federer weren't there. And then 2015, Murray won the whole thing. Djokovic and Nadal were there. Federer not. Swiatek 2 love. When was the last time the big three played the whole thing? 2014. It was Federer made the final, lost to Tsonga. Nadal didn't play. 2013. No Federer, but you had Nadal and Djokovic and Murray. 2012, no Federer, but you had Djokovic and Murray. No Nadal. 2011 was the last time the big three, and Murray as well. It was probably 2011 was the last time that the Canadian Open was fully stacked with the best players, with the big three. It's a long time. 2 love. All right, 15 love. That's on the men's side. On the women's side, totally different story. Everybody's playing. So half of the event is still the women's side is stacked this year. It's only missing Mukova from the top 10. Apologies while I'm supporting for this match. Do you have Alex's schedule? Yeah, so she's playing tomorrow night, which will be 7 p.m. local time, 7 a.m. Philippines time, I guess. I don't know if she's playing first or second, but I'm pretty sure she'll play first. They'll put her on first. And then they'll probably put Fritz on after, I would say. Or Chapo or somebody. One of the Canadians, maybe. Maybe they'll put on Fernandez or... No, they can't put Fernandez. FAA. Probably FAA. All right, Bejlek. Just trying to get a game, and the crowd are trying to cheer her on. 30-0. As we're backing up the line to the back end of Bejlek. Swiatek forehand to the forehand of Bejlek. Into the forehand of Swiatek is Bejlek forehand inside out. That's a good shot. Swiatek gets it back. Bejlek drop shot. No good. Swiatek puts it away. All right. So Canada is clearly the stepchild of the Masters. No, I think it's just in an awkward spot. I think being post Wimbledon, it's been by the time we get to August, it's been a long, long year, and the players haven't had much of a break. Bejlek survives. Good serve gets the deuce. I think by the time you get to August, it's been 7 months of tour. And we talked about this the other day. Maybe there's like visa issues. Going to a different country is just a whole nother headache that you can avoid by just staying in America and playing Cincinnati. You go to a different country, it's different for the Europeans, right? When they're in Europe, because they can kind of freely travel, right? But when you got to go from, like, we talked about this the other day, getting into America's it's not easy, and then it's also not easy now. It's probably harder now, right? The visas are stricter or whatever. So getting a working visa, even if you're a professional athlete, is probably still a lot of hoops you got to jump through. So why would you want to do that for two different countries when you can just go straight to America? As with a backhand slice in the net by Swiatek, and Bejlek with a lovely drop shot survives. Back to deuce. I don't think that's a major issue, but it's probably a little bit of a, one extra thing to do, right? An extra step, that you're like, why not just go straight to America and not have to bother with the whole, also traveling, right? Traveling to Canada, you add an extra spot to your traveling schedule. As Bejlek hits a forehand long, and it's advantage for Swiatek. There's a few little reasons that would be a bit of a pain. Whereas when everyone's playing Canada, Djokovic, Sinner, and Alcaraz can go to Cincinnati a week early, right? Plus, those three guys you would expect if they came to Canada would win. So they're going to be in Canada for 2 weeks, and then Cincinnati's going to start while they're playing the final. Then they've got to travel to Cincy, get no time off between matches. Like, let's say Sinner won the whole thing, right? Because he would if he played. Then you've got like 1 day off to then go play Cincy. Like, what a rush, right? So much going on. Whereas if you just don't play Canada, as that goes wide by Bejlek. 3 love. If you don't play Canada, then you go straight to Cincinnati. You can go there early. You don't have to rush. You can, you can practice. You can warm up while everybody else is playing Canada. And then when everybody comes to Cincinnati, you're ready. You don't have to worry about, rushing from Canada to Cincy. You don't have to worry about, changing hotels. You've settled in. Like, you can kind of like set up your headquarters in Cincy, right? A little bit earlier. All those little things, those little things probably all matter. Especially the big players, who don't need to play Canada for their ranking. Zverev's playing Canada probably because him and Alcaraz are in a battle for number 2. And that's a big difference. It's a difference between playing Sinner in the semis or the final, right? So you can tell, like, the incentive for Zverev to play, he doesn't need the money, all that kind of stuff. But if he doesn't play Canada, he gives Alcaraz a chance to be the number 2 seed at the US Open, right? So you can see where his motivations would lie in ranking. If he wins a couple matches here, he'll be number 2 going to Cincy. And then if he does okay in Cincinnati, which he should be fine in Cincy because Alcaraz has got points to lose anyway. But yeah, there's probably a little bit of an incentive there for Zverev to try and, solidify his spot as the number 2 seed. Because again, we know Zverev playing Sinner is a pain in the ass for Zverev. He did well at Wimbledon, but before that it was a nightmare. If he can avoid Sinner to the final of the US, why wouldn't he play this tournament to try and avoid Sinner in the future, right? Djokovic not playing. I mean, if Djokovic had played this tournament, he would have had to win to be number 4. So he's so far away from FAA, there's no point in Djokovic playing this. His ranking wouldn't have improved. FAA would have had to lose first round, and Djokovic would have had to win the whole thing just for Djokovic to get number 4 spot. And that would just be, in Cincinnati, it might not even matter because FAA could do well there. The only thing that Djokovic has got to worry about, and this is probably why he is playing Cincy, is because he hasn't played Cincinnati for years. There is a chance that Djokovic, by the end of this week, not a massive chance, but there's a little bit of a chance that he could be number 8 or 9. Because you got there's Caboli's only 400 points away from Djokovic at number 9. So between 9 and 5, or 5 and 9, there's only 400 points, right? So Djokovic if he doesn't play Cincy, he could be number 9 in the world. So, and that doesn't matter massively, but you want to be top 8. You want to be one of the top 8 seeds. If he can't be top 4, I mean, he could be top 4 because FAA, if FAA doesn't do well here, he'd have to win Cincinnati Djokovic to be number 4. But, if FAA doesn't do well here and doesn't do well in Cincy, there's a little slim chance he does get to number 4. But even then, we don't know if Alcaraz is going to be good. We don't know. He's going to come back, but we don't know if he's going to be good. He might not play. There's still a chance that he plays Cincy and says, yeah, I'm not ready, and doesn't play US, right? Like, that could happen. Djokovic being at number 5 means that he would be promoted to number 4. So even, defending the number 5 spot's pretty important as well. When there is, and also there's you never know what's going to happen. FAA, Zverev, Sinner, they could pull out of the US Open for some reason. So for Djokovic to be number 5 is like the first emergency, right? For the top 4 seeds. So yeah, he would, he'd want to be number 5. At least that way, if somebody does pull out, let's say Alcaraz, he will get promoted, and then he'll be top 4. Then he avoids Sinner to the semis. Then he, all those perks that come with being top 4, right? So yeah. So even though he's not going to be able to get to top 4, it's unlikely he'll be top 4 on his ranking. Being number 5 is still very important. Just in case, Alcaraz plays Cincy and says, yeah, I'm not ready to play 5 sets, and doesn't play. And that is a legitimate thing. That could happen. We don't know what to expect from Alcaraz, right? We don't know if Alcaraz is going to be ready. He doesn't know if he's going to be ready, right? He'll play, but how does he recover, right? Anyways, 40-30. Swiatek's double bageling here. This is ridiculous. Svitolina's going 3. Of course she is, because I said that she lost when she didn't. Anyways, return goes to the back end of Swiatek. Back end now from Bejlek into the forehand. Swiatek as Bejlek wins the point. Swiatek hits it in the net. It's deuce. Deuce. Serve into the backhand of Bejlek. Return goes to forehand Swiatek. Into the forehand of Bejlek as Swiatek forehand again. Goes long. Advantage Bejlek. 50% fits Alcaraz is enough to beat French Open winning Zverev. I don't think that's true. But no, what I'm saying with Alcaraz, I'm not saying that he's not fit enough to play. I'm saying that I don't think he would, if he comes back and plays a couple matches and his wrist flares up, he's not going to play the US Open. Right? He's not going to risk long-term injury. You know what I mean? So it's not about whether or not Alcaraz is competitive against Zverev. He might play Cincinnati. We don't know. Again, we don't know. He doesn't know. He's been training. All signs look good, but he might play his second round in Cincinnati, and it's a tricky second. He might play a big server, right? He might play, Opelka or Atman or GMP, right? A lot of strain on the wrist playing someone who serves that big. And then after that match, he might win that match. After that match, his wrist might be really, really sore because he hasn't played. We don't know how it's going to react. And that might be the sign that goes, oh, maybe I'm not ready. We don't know. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Swiatek gets it out advantage Bejlek. I'm saying that could happen, right? Just like Rune coming back. He could come back, play a match, and his Achilles flares up, and he's like, oh, I'm actually really sore. Yeah, I'm not ready to play 5 sets. I mean, again, because for Alcaraz, if Cincinnati's like it's like the test. It's not about winning Cincy. It's not about beating Sinner at this stage. It's about coming back and feeling good. You know? But we don't know. Swiatek gets in the net. Bejlek gets a game. 3-1. Swiatek in the second. Bejlek on the board. So yeah, we don't know. We don't know if Alcaraz is going to be... It's not even about how he looks like physically playing. Like if he wins or loses, okay. It's about how does the wrist react? Because he's been pulling out of tournaments so far in advance. Like he pulled out of Wimbledon before the French. So you knew it was like, oh, okay, this is real serious. Because players don't usually pull out of a Grand Slam when the other Grand Slam hasn't even started, right? I mean, he pulled out pre-French Open for Wimbledon. It was 6 weeks, 7 weeks in advance, right? So we don't know. And a lot of players we've seen with like Nadal and Djokovic, like and Federer, right? We've seen these guys and even Serena at times, right? Over the years, some of these players that have injuries, they like, well, yeah, I can't play 5 sets. I'm not going to risk playing 5 sets. So we don't know. Anyways, Bejlek in the net, love 15. Cam didn't focus on this match. Talk to the men. Yeah, Theodora, it's called Tennis Talk. So, I mean, we're talking about tennis, mate. So, at the end of the day, we're going to talk. And plus, this match is so one-sided that there's nothing, we're not missing on anything. It's 6-3. It was 6-love, 3-love. Like, what are we missing? Like, Swiatek's winning. There's nothing, we're not missing anything by talking about some other stuff. As with a forehand out of the forehand of Bejlek, Swiatek backhand, love 15. As Bejlek drop shot, but Swiatek gets it back. Bejlek up the line. Swiatek back with a forehand. And then Bejlek drop shot. Swiatek forehand again. Bejlek with a pass, but Swiatek volleys it. Oh, and Bejlek hits a passing shot winner. There we go. She puts her hands up as well. It's like, thank you, everybody. 15-all. 15-all. But yeah, like, I didn't focus on this match. What have I missed? Nobody's going to watch the replay of this stream anyway because Swiatek's winning. Like, they're going to look and go, oh, the score was easy. Why would, like, unless Bejlek comes back to make this 3 sets, people are not going to give a shit about this match in 12 hours. They're going to go, oh, Swiatek won 6-love, 6-2? Okay. I know how this works. I've been doing this for 8 years. Nobody's going to... If Swiatek wins this easily... Nobody's gonna be bothered. That goes in the net by Swiatek, and it's 30-15. And when the matches aren't good or aren't interesting, we can talk about other things. Anyway, it's 30-15. Swiatek forehand cross court to the back of the Bejlek, and then Swiatek misses it. 40-15. Yeah, watch this now. Now that I've finished talking about Djokovic, we're gonna Swiatek's gonna have to play a tiebreak now. Rune's back in Cincy, right? I am not sure. I'm not sure. Anyways, backhand goes out by Swiatek. Bejlek wins 2 games in a row. Svitolina 4-love? God damn it. Chat, I'm going to fucking lose it next time you ever say that somebody's lost and that it hasn't actually happened. And I'm taking all the credit for Svitolina coming back. I don't care. I'm taking all the credit. She wouldn't have come back if I didn't tell you that she lost. If I didn't tell you that the chat told me that she lost, I'm taking all that bloody credit. That's my credit. She's winning because of me. Because I talked about her form line being terrible for 5-10 minutes. That's my victory. We won together, me and Svitolina. You're welcome. Who else is playing right now? So Hurkacz beat Giron. Tsitsipas beat Dam. Poprin's playing. We've got Rublev after this. I think. Is Rublev after this? Not after this, but like after. Is he coming up soon? The thing about these tournaments is that because they're split over 2 different cities, we've got to do two different schedules, so I don't know. The juggling this week's tough. Things are a little bit... Yeah, okay, so Rublev's coming up in the next couple, probably next hour. Vekic is playing right now as well. So Vekic will play the winner of this match if she wins. Alexandrova is up a set and 2-1. 5-love Svitolina. Felinska's playing today, which is fun. And Kostruk comes on after this. All right, 1 hour played, love 15. Can't pronounce her dead, and then she resurrected. Well, chat told me she was dead. So I wrote a eulogy. I got bad information from chat. But I'll take the credit for her comeback. As we get a forehand into the back of Swiatek. Swiatek in the net, love 30. Hang on. What do we have here? Love 30. Bejlek's won 11 of the last 15 points. All right. Love 30. Serve. Into the front of Bejlek. Good return, but Swiatek's there with a forehand. Bejlek with a lob. Just goes long. 15-30. All right, serve again. As a return. Goes into the backhand of Bejlek. Forehand Swiatek. Again to the front of Bejlek. And Swiatek forehand goes long. Wow, what is she doing, Swiatek? 15-40. From 3-love, double break. Swiatek's in big trouble. All right. As a return goes into the forehand, Swiatek. Up the line to the forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek backhand again. The forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek backhand again. As Bejlek forehand on the stretch. Goes in. And then Swiatek cross-court forehand. Bejlek with a backhand again to the forehand of Swiatek. And Swiatek up the line for a winner. Bejlek eventually loses the point, but that was a marathon. 30-40. Monfils beat Myshak. Yep. Yeah, huge momentum shift. As a return, it goes in the forehand of Swiatek. Forehand from Bejlek up the line. Swiatek with a slice. Bejlek with a volley. Swiatek with a lob. Goes in. Bejlek runs the baseline now as Swiatek falling cross court. Bejlek with a slice in the net. Swiatek survives, which is weird to say. Deuce. We haven't said that at all today. All right, deuce. All right, is it a backhand now to the forehand of Swiatek? Backhand now from Bejlek. Again, the forehand of Swiatek. Bejlek drop shot. Swiatek gets it with a slice. Bejlek with a volley up the line. Too good. All right. Advantage Bejlek to get back on serve. Whew. Lovely volley. And Swiatek serves again. Into the backhand of Bejlek. Swiatek forehand cross court. Bejlek gets on the stretch. Swiatek forehand cross court again. Bejlek's there with her backhand. She overhits it back to deuce. Have food delivered. Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to donate though, so then I can get food. I'm not going to order and get food delivered until you've donated to the food fund. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, if I order the food now, and then you're like, haha, I'm not actually going to pay for it, then I have to pay for it. So, you know what I mean? So, I'm waiting. I'll eat when you... I'm just kidding. Don't donate. I'm just kidding. Backhand in the net from Swiatek, and it's advantage Bejlek. Now, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing's open. Advantage Bejlek. Just get food delivered. Nah. I mean, there's nothing. The options are limited. Also, I just ate before stream anyway, so I'm fine. Advantage Bejlek to get back on serve somehow. As a return goes in the backhand of Swiatek, forehand from Bejlek. Into the forehand of Swiatek. Bejlek with the forehand again. Swiatek inside out forehand winner back to deuce. No, we don't have Waffle House here. I wish. All right. Deuce. As we default second serve. Yeah, we don't even have Denny's. It's annoying. As we return now into the net by Bejlek. Swiatek advantage. To go to 4-2. Advantage Swiatek. As we default second serve. Need to move to Canada. Advantage Swiatek. I don't think I want Denny's. Like, I think if I had the option to Waffle House and Denny's, it probably wouldn't be a good thing. It's probably good that I don't have the option. As with a backhand in the net by, forehand in the net by Swiatek deuce. Be a lot harder to keep in shape if that was available, I think, for me. I can avoid McDonald's. If that's the only place open, I could be like, yeah, I'm good. But if there was like multiple options, I think That probably wouldn't be a good thing. All right, Swiatek gets that out, and Bejlek gets another chance to break. Advantage Bejlek. As that goes out by Bejlek on the return. Then we get to deuce. All right, nice serve, Swiatek. And she gets to advantage. Advantage Swiatek. As the return goes into the forehand, Swiatek, she shanks it long. We're back to deuce. A game that never ends. Yeah, we are in deuce jail for sure. All right, return goes into the forehand. Swiatek. Swiatek up the line, goes wide. And it's advantage Bejlek to get back on serve. Sixth break point of the game. As the return goes short into the forehand of Swiatek, Bejlek backhand. Into the backhand of Swiatek, crossed into the forehand of Bejlek. Bejlek hits it out. We're back to deuce. All right, we're back to deuce. As we return now to the forehand, Swiatek backhand slice Bejlek. Swiatek comes out with the forehand. Bejlek pass. Swiatek, lets it go long. And it's advantage Swiatek for a 4-2 lead. Yeah, the Parks tomorrow. Is that tomorrow's banger? I'd say it'd be very interesting. I'm a massive fan of Parks. you know it. Greg's, I'm a massive fan of Parks. As that goes out by Swiatek, we get back to deuce. I'm so keen for tomorrow's match with the Eala Parks. I mean, look, Eala did bagel Parks, so she should win. I'm glad that Eala gets to play Parks, though. I think it's great. It's a great time for her to have a rematch against Parks. And then I can't wait to see, hopefully, Eala play Noskova. Because I think right now, those two matches are perfect for Eala, right? They're a good opportunity for Eala. They're not perfect matchups, right? They're not good matchups, but I think it's a good time for her to try and... That's the worst loss of her year. Like, losing to Parks at the Australian Open was her worst loss of the season. So for her to get revenge and then to take on Noskova and really test herself would be really interesting. If she can beat Parks. Swiatek hits an ace, and we're back to deuce. Cam is a Parks truther. he will be neutral for that one. I rate Parks very highly. She is very dangerous. She just doesn't... She's not consistent, but she's very dangerous. And I remember Park's reaction after beating Eala because everybody was cheering for Eala. And she didn't appreciate that. So I'm excited to see how Parks reacts to the crowd too. Because Parks had some very fun reactions when they played in Australia. And they were like, only her team were cheering her. And she was like, what the hell is this? 99% of the people here are cheering against me? I love that. Parks' reaction when she won. That was so funny. So I want to see how Parks deals with like the stadium crowd, because there will be pro Eala. She knows what to expect now, so maybe it won't be as funny. But I'm keen to see how she deals with the crowd, and if she gets annoyed or gets a little frustrated at that, as that goes out by Bejlek. But back to deuce. 8 break points in this game alone for Bejlek. All right, deuce. Serving to the forehand of Bejlek. The return goes to forehand of Swiatek. Swiatek in the net. Advantage Bejlek. Another. Well, that was a 10th deuce. 9th break point of this game. Ruud and Medvedev are practicing. Cool. The 9th break point of this game. Serve. Into the back of Bejlek. Return goes to forehand of Swiatek. Bejlek backhand on the stretch. Swiatek. Forehand again, the back of Bejlek. Into the back of Swiatek. Bejlek. Forehand goes wide. Back to deuce. Oh, this is literally like this is the definition of a marathon game. This is what we say when we say marathon. 11th deuce. Serve. Into the back of Bejlek. Forehand from Swiatek. To the back of Bejlek. And Swiatek forehand again. The back of Bejlek. Swiatek keeps it to the back of Bejlek. Again to the forehand of Swiatek. Bejlek. Forehand cross court. Swiatek gets it back with a backhand. Bejlek forehand again. Into the back of Swiatek is Bejlek. Forehand again. To the slice of Swiatek. Bejlek comes in with a drop shot. Swiatek with a passing shot up the line. Winner. Advantage Swiatek. Good hustle from Swiatek. All right. Advantage Swiatek to take this never-ending game. Advantage Swiatek. She serves a fault. Second serve. Serving to the forehand of Bejlek. Return the back to Swiatek. Bejlek on the stretch gets it back to the forehand of Swiatek. Bejlek backhand again. And Swiatek forehand into the forehand of Bejlek. And then Swiatek backhand again. The forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek comes in with a drop shot in the net. Back to deuce. Back to deuce. All right. Is it a backhand? Up the line to the backhand. Swiatek. Forehand from Bejlek. Drop shot. As with a forehand up the line. Winner by Swiatek. Advantage Swiatek. By the way, after this game, it's not even a change of ends. They don't even get to sit down after this, 30-minute game. Oh, man. Advantage Swiatek. Advantage Swiatek. Serve goes in. Oh, no, it doesn't. It goes out. Double fault. Back to deuce. What? Oh, back to deuce. "13th deuce point." Are you kidding me? By the way, I don't think Roige is there. Roige isn't there today. Is he not in Canada? As with a fault, second serve. Serving to the forehand of Bejlek. Return. Goes wide. Advantage Swiatek. Again. As a return. Goes in the back of Swiatek. Bejlek forehand. Goes long! Yes! The game ends! We have to celebrate that because that was brutal. All right. Wow. 4-2. Swiatek holds. I want to say that was at least 20 minutes. That had to have been a 20-minute game. That game was 20 minutes. Had to have been. 13 deuces. I think 9 break points saved. At least 20 minutes. That had to have been. All right. It's only 4-2. And people are trying to find their seats because they were waiting for the change of ends so they could come back inside and watch this. Anyways, backhand from Bejlek into the forehand of Swiatek. Bejlek. Backhand again, the forehand of Swiatek. Again, the backhand of Bejlek puts up a moon ball. Swiatek hits a moon ball back. Then Bejlek with a forehand up the line. Swiatek gets it back to the backhand of Bejlek. Into the backhand of Swiatek. Swiatek gets it wide. 15 love. Yeah, there was 9 break points in that one for Bejlek. Brutal. Ah, 30 love. Whew. 30 love. 22-minute game. Crazy. 30 love. As a return goes in the backhand of Bejlek. Bejlek hits it out. 30-15. (30-15). Swiatek is just spraying the ball all over the court in the last 4 games. Yeah, she hasn't been as good in the last 4. But luckily for her, she still leads 4-2. As we get a return into the forehand of Bejlek. Bejlek hits it wide. This is my cape. All right. 30-0. 30 all. As a return goes the forehand of Bejlek. Back in Swiatek. Again, the forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek. Forehand into the backhand of Bejlek. Again to the forehand of Swiatek. Forehand from Bejlek cross court. Swiatek slice. Bejlek volleys. And it's a win up. 40-30. Is it cold in Melbourne? It is. It's been really like ice cold. Like the wind's been really icy, and like, I don't know. It's just been like, I mean, it's winter. That's why. Right in the middle of winter. It's freezing. Maybe I could go to the snow. All right, Bejlek holds in a fraction of the time. And it's 4-3 Swiatek. It's been really, really cold the last couple of weeks. Oh, it looks like a lot of snow's falling on the mountains too, so that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of snow around. What's the temperature right now? It's 9 degrees, but it feels like 5, and it's raining. So yeah, it's not that cold, but it's just the rain. It's just the rain. You don't have an Australian accent. Okay. Thanks for noticing. Yeah, it's just ice. Like everything's damp because it's been raining. So like when everything's wet, it's just cold. No sun. It was actually nice on the weekend. On the weekend, the sun came out. It was beautiful on Sunday. Saturday, Sunday was a lovely weather. And then Monday, Tuesday have been just winter. I need the Rockies jacket. I need matching ski pants, I think, because my legs are freezing. Didn't we already discuss the accent already? Yeah, we did. All right, Swiatek with a set and a break, but she's had to fight to keep this lead. She got 3-love, and it looked like it was going to be double bagel. And Bejlek said no. I refuse. Goes with a forehand in the back of Bejlek. Bejlek hits it wide. 15-love. 15-love. Swiatek serves again. Into the forehand of Bejlek. And then Swiatek cross-court forehand. Too good. 30-love. Love. There's a backhand from Swiatek into the forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek. Lovely forehand. Bejlek gets it back with a slice. Then Swiatek cross-court forehand winner. 40-love. Love. Swiatek serves again. Into the forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek backhand to the backhand of Bejlek. Again to the forehand of Swiatek. Bejlek drop shot. Oh, sorry, slice. Goes long. I don't know if she was trying to attempt A drop shot or what? By the way, that was a 21 minutes, 26 seconds that service game of Swiatek. All right. Swiatek, love 15. She's 3 points away from the win. Now we're going to watch Rublev taking on Zhang after this. They are playing in Montreal, but they're playing after. There's a match going on at the moment. We got to wait for that match. So they are playing later. And then Sabalenka plays tonight. Told you we got no days off because yesterday would have been a day off if we didn't have to do the Washington final, thing. As that goes out by Swiatek, 30-15. Like Canada, we get straight into it. No days off. And then Cincinnati is straight after this, so we probably won't have any days off until maybe before the US Open, maybe like on the maybe, probably not, maybe. There's a lot going on pre-US Open because they do that bloody fan week. As with a smash from Swiatek, 30-0. Yeah, because straight after Cincinnati is the US Open mixed doubles, which we're going to watch, and then after that, they just have random like matches. So yeah, we might not have much time between now and the middle of September. US Open ends on like September 13. So once, yeah. I'll tell you, after the US Open, I'm disappearing. You're not going to see me for at least a week. Anyways, match point Swiatek, 30-40. I don't know where I'm going to go, but I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I'm logging off. 30-40. Match point Swiatek. 7 to the back, and Swiatek return goes wide. Bejlek survives. Deuce. We got Labour Cup after the US Open, but that's not directly after. Check, can somebody call Eala and tell her not to play after the US Open? Can somebody tell her to go on holiday for like 4 weeks, please? Somebody call Eala and say, yeah, don't play Guadalajara or Sao Paulo. Tell her to go to Beijing at the end of September. Tell her she earned 2 weeks off. Back at Swiatek into the forehand of Bejlek. Is Swiatek forehand to the back into Bejlek? Into the back of Swiatek. Cross court into the forehand of Bejlek. Is Swiatek on the attack? Puts it away. Match point number 2. All right. Match point number 2. Swiatek to get it done. It hasn't been easy in the second set. Serve. Into the forehand. Swiatek return goes long. We're back to deuce. All right, we get the deuce. A bit of fault to conserve. Oh, double fault. All right, advantage. Swiatek, match point number 3. As the return goes into the forehand of Bejlek. Swiatek forehand off the tape is a winner. Swiatek gets it done. And she is into the third round, where she will take on the winner of Vekic. And Golubic. And that could go 3. So, yeah. But she gets it done. Swiatek, not easy. That second set, she was up 3-love. It looked easy, and then she put herself in some trouble. That 22-minute game at 3-2 was clearly crucial, because after that she didn't lose a game. But yeah, Swiatek gets it done. She's into the third round. GG's. All right. Good win. Not convincing. After the second set wasn't convincing, but she won. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. The bad section of the draw for Swiatek. Oh, it's tricky, yeah. For sure, tricky. Sabalenka is playing in like 5 hours. Historic win for Swiatek. Why was it historic? Was that like a 300th, 400th win or something? What was the history around that? What'd I miss? Oh, you're just kidding. Okay. I thought you meant like it was actually a... You got to say... You got to lull after it, so I know you're not being serious. I thought you were going to say like, oh, it's a 500th whatever. Or like it's her biggest... I don't know. She's won 425 matches, so I mean... Thanks. Go back. Be back after laundry and cooking. All right. Enjoy that. Ooh. If Sabalenka doesn't do well, what about Sabalenka? Oh, if Sabalenka loses this round, this first round, and Raducanu wins Toronto, Raducanu's going to be number 1. Oh, really? Ooh. I'll tell you, that's probably... We talked about Djokovic and Sinner not playing this and stuff. I reckon the reason why so many players are playing Canada this year is because of that. Like, I mean, there's a lot of players that are playing because they want to play football and get form, but I think if Sabalenka's ranking wasn't at stake, I think she wouldn't play. She'd focus on Cincinnati. But because she has to defend or fend off Raducanu from, taking her number 1 spot, maybe that's another reason why Sabalenka is playing this year. Because she wants to, she doesn't want to lose the number 1 spot before the US Open. She wants to be number 1, she wants to be number 1 at the US Open, right? She's the defending champion. Interesting. Because she didn't play last year, I don't think. Pretty sure Sabalenka didn't play this tournament last year. If I can remember. Yeah, she pulled out last year. How did Swiatek look? Confident? She did until she didn't. Like, she looked like this. When she won the first 9 games, she looked amazing. But then losing like a couple of games in a row, almost getting back on serve. I mean, there was a little bit of a slip. So it wasn't perfect, but it's still a win. Straight sets win. Love in 3, you know. That was the only way that Mboka was able to win. What, because Sabalenka wasn't there? There's still a lot of good players. And Mboka still beat a lot of good players. She beat Osaka in the final. I don't know, Osaka's not Sabalenka right now, but I don't think Mboka won because Sabalenka wasn't there. She won because there was still Gauff, Swiatek, Pegula, Anisimova, Keys, Svitolina, Raducanu. I mean, she beat Raducanu in the semis. I mean, what do you want? She beat Gauff in the 4th round. I mean, come on now. Come on. It's not too late to retract that statement. She beat Gauff, Osaka, Raducanu to win the title. So, like, yeah, okay, she didn't beat Sabalenka, but that's still pretty damn good. Oh, you're being silly. Oh. You got to say, well, you said sorry, not sorry. You got to say lol. Raducanu is in the WTA Finals winner curse mode right now. The one that always delivers. Okay. Yeah, don't forget the lol. If you're joking, you gotta lol. I can't hear your tone, so if you're making jokes, it's gonna go over my head if you don't lol. Alexandra Eala's got match point, by the way. And Vekic is going 3 against Golubic. Ugh. Kostrik's about to hit the court. She's taken on Sibov, the Canadian. All right, so we're gonna wait for Marita taking on Draxel, and then Rublev starts after that. I think Sabalenka needs to make her semi-final or better to prevent Raducanu taking number 1. Yeah. So what is the situation with the ranking? Because it's not about Cincinnati. It's not about here. It's about Cincinnati, right? Because Cincinnati and the U.S. Open, that's where she's got a lot of points. Oh, okay. So no. So it's the Cincinnati doesn't really matter because there's a slim chance that Raducanu gets to number 1 pre-US Open. Sabalenka would have to have a shocking couple of tournaments. So Sabalenka would have to lose here and lose in Cincy, basically lose first round in both, right? Or second round in both. And Raducanu would have to go on a run and either win this or Cincy. Because Raducanu made the semis here last year, so she has a lot of points to defend here. Sabalenka has no points to defend here. And then vice versa in the other tournament, right? Sabalenka's got a lot of points to defend. Has a semi-final in Cincy last year, right? Maybe. Yeah, no, quarterfinal. Quarterfinal in Cincy, and then Raducanu's got a semi in Cincy as well. So Raducanu's got more points to defend now. But if Sabalenka loses badly in both, or even in just one, and Rybakina goes on to win one and make have a run at another, she could be number one. Not a slim chance. There is a chance, a good chance. But she has to win one of the next two. And Rybakina is not in good form. So, look at the tournaments, right? She had an upset at Wimbledon. She had an upset at the French. She didn't play great on the grass before Wimbledon, right? She lost to Eala, which was an upset at the time. Probably still would be if it was today. Like, Rybakina's not playing great. So, it would be pretty surprising if Rybakina got to number one before the US. She could definitely be number one after the US. I think she will be number one after the US. Even if she doesn't play amazing. Because Sabalenka's got so much to lose at the US Open. She has zero to gain. So Rybakina would only have to hope that Sabalenka loses in the quarters and she goes on a bit of a run to the quarters that she would probably take her over anyway. So, yeah. Still a lot of things up in the air. I think once we get through this tournament, we'll have a bit better picture of how does Rybakina get to number one during Cincy, after Cincy. But I think Sabalenka will be number one at the US Open, but Rybakina will be number one after. I know Rybakina doesn't do well at the US Open, but she doesn't need to. Like, Rybakina doesn't need to do that well because it's Sabalenka who has everything to lose. So Rybakina just has to do well in Cincy and Canada or Canada, and that would be enough because it's all on Sabalenka at the US. It might come down to Sabalenka has to win the title to stay number one. And if she doesn't win, doesn't matter what Rybakina does. If Rybakina loses second, third, fourth rounds, it might be all on Sabalenka, right? Like, Sabalenka loses in the final, she loses number one. Like, and imagine the pressure. Not only is Sabalenka going for three in a row, which is really tough to do, right? Because we all take it for granted. But when was the last time somebody won 3 Grand Slams in a row? It's been a minute, right? Swiatek won 4 French. Djokovic, right? Winning 3 in a row at a Grand Slam is tough. Alcaraz can't do it. Sinner hasn't done it. Sabalenka hasn't done it, right? So don't underestimate the pressure of a three-peat. And then you add on top of that the fact that she might have to win the tournament to stay number one. Even more pressure. So double the pressure. And the fact that everybody's trying to get the US Open. And the fact that she doesn't want to slam in 12 months. But there's just so much on Sabalenka going into the US Open. So Sabalenka has to win Cincinnati or Canada to at least take some pressure off the US Open, because then she might not have to win that to stay number one. But again, it's fun to have the conversation though, because we don't, on the men's side, it's like Sinner by a mile. So whatever. But on the women's side, yeah, there's an opportunity. We could get a new number one in the next couple of weeks. My prediction is Sabalenka wins the US Open, but Rybakina still goes to number one. That would be kind of crazy. Rybakina would have to go on a run. She'd have to win Cincinnati and Canada probably to do that, but yeah, I think Serena, yeah. I mean, on the women's side, because on the men's side it was, Nadal, Djokovic, they did all the time. But on the ladies' side, Swiatek winning 4 French in a row was, like, looking from afar now, like looking from, is kind of pretty impressive. So yeah, Swiatek 3 in a row at the French. Sabalenka's had a chance to do a 3-peat, lost to the Australian Open final. She's got a 3-peat she's on track for 3-peat now. And then Serena, she won 3 US Opens in a row back in the 2010s. She was the only player to 3-peat in the 2010s. So Swiatek, Serena in recent times. Justin N won 3 French in a row in the 2000s. Venus won 3 out of 4 at Wimbledon, but that doesn't count. No one's 3-peat at Wimbledon for a long time, since Steffi in the 90s. So yeah, Steffi and Monica Seles, Hingis, they all won 3 in a row. back in the 90s. And then you go back to Martina, who won a million Wimbledons in a row. Chrissy won. Did she three-peat? Oh no, she did. She actually won a lot of US Opens. Billie Jean King, she did not three-peat. Margaret Court did. Yvonne Goolagong did at the Australian Open as well in the 70s. She won 3 in a row. So I mean, that's a pretty exclusive list. You know, that's a pretty impressive list too. If you win this Grand Slam, you join Margaret Court, Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf, Monica Seles, Martina Hingis, Serena Williams, Justine Henin, and Iga Swiatek as the only players to win 3 slams in a row. That's a pretty exclusive list. Of all those players are in the Hall of Fame or future Hall of Fame. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty. I mean, there's how many good players have we had over the generations that haven't done that, right? I mean, we're talking about Venus has never done it, Davenport never done it, Billie Jean King never done it, right? Clijsters didn't do it. So yeah, Azarenka had a chance, but she failed at the third attempt. Sharapova never did it. So yeah. So it's again so much pressure. There's so much pressure on trying to do it, you know, because it is, even though it doesn't feel like it's a big deal, it is a big deal. I mean, three-peat is a massive deal in the NBA, right? And that kind of those a lot of the NBA, there's a lot of NBA influence on tennis when it comes to like three-peats and GOATs and whatever. You know, a lot of that stems from you know, NBA in the 90s when, and this is my theory, a lot of those terminologies were created in the 90s for the Jordan Bulls, right? Jordan was the GOAT, greatest of all time, three-peat, Bulls three-peat, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got Sampras and Agassi dominating on the men's tennis tour. So then a lot of those terminologies were then put on Sampras and put on Agassi, right? As you know, three-peating at, you know, Wimbledon or whatever, you know. And then a lot of that's kind of stayed true throughout the 2000s. And now we use them as if we invented them, right? But a lot of that stuff, from what I can tell, comes from that 90s era of basketball. Because I don't think people use the word GOAT. I don't remember people using GOAT in the early 2000s, because it was, except for Sampras. They would always call Sampras the greatest player of all time. And then we shortened it to GOAT because we got bored and it's too many words. Anyways, the history of language. At least that's from what I can see from afar. I don't know if that's 100%. I know Ali was calling himself the greatest back in the day, but he didn't call himself GOAT. I don't know if the term three-peat came around. Was that around before? I don't know. Maybe it was around pre-Bulls. Maybe it was around because like the Lakers and Celtics used to win a lot. Anyways, we use it now because it's fun to say. Yeah, Jordan was the word GOAT. I think it came around during that era. And Sampras was the greatest of all time in the late 90s, early 2000s. And there's a lot of footage out there. If you go watch a lot of like interviews and stuff, and with McEnroe especially, I remember hearing him say it a lot, talking about Sampras as the greatest of all time, talking about Roddick talking about Sampras, you know, as the greatest of all time. I think Courier was saying it. Like early 2000s, mid 2000s, before Federer popped off, it was all about Sampras was the greatest. He was the GOAT. Which is a shame that we don't even. It's a shame that he only got like less than 10 years as the greatest, because Federer then overtook him. But it's a shame that we didn't get to celebrate Sampras enough when he was considered the greatest, because it was so short-lived. You know, I think Roy Emerson's record of 12 stood for like 40 years, 30 years. So Sampras broke that record after like 40 years, and then Sampras got his record broken after 5. So, you know. Yeah. I wish there was more, and it sucks also because Sampras is out of the limelight, so we don't get to, you know, we didn't get to celebrate Sampras post Sampras. He kind of retired and then disappeared and played a couple exhibitions against Federer in Asia. That was it. And didn't really, and he popped up when Federer broke his record. That was it. You know, we haven't seen him really since, and he never got a time to be like celebrated because he kind of disappeared, like Borg, right? Just kind of faded away, and we didn't get a chance to like, you know, celebrate Sampras. Because I guess people didn't think people. I don't think anybody expected Sampras's record to be broken. And then it was like 5 years, like 7 years later. I really hope there's a Sampras. You know what? We need a Sampras movie. I don't want a documentary. I want a King Richard style documentary around Sampras. We need it. We need to do that. That's what needs to happen eventually. There needs to be a biopic on Sampras. And then imagine you could have like somebody cast as Agassi, somebody cast as Courier. Like you get like that would be something. And then you get like a young kid cast as Roddick, like because at the end of Sampras's career, Roddick was coming through. That'd be fun. I don't want to see a documentary about Sampras. I want a biopic. I want Sampras to be. And then you know what? Sampras can play McEnroe. Do a cameo appearance as like Mac in the commentary box or something. Yeah, I hope that happens one day. His story deserves to be put up on screen. He doesn't get. I know he doesn't like. He's not. That's not his vibe, right? He's not really one of those. He doesn't want the attention, but he deserves the attention. He deserves that praise. He deserves to be celebrated. The most dramatic thing for Sampras was when he's coached up. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. Like Sampras lived a very like his career was very like the death of his coach, you know, the rivalry with Agassi, right? You know, rivalry with Courier, the Wimbledon wins, right? I mean, there's just so many things that Sampras is. There is a documentary that came out like I think early 2000s when Sampras was still playing. And that's fun. I think it goes for like an hour. And it's you know, it's that's got a lot of people celebrating him as the greatest of all time. But that's the only piece of media that kind of that gives like pop. You know what? Okay, I either want to see a biopic about Sampras or I want a last. I know I said I hate these Last Dance things, but like these Last Dance copy. But I would love now that it's been like 20 years, right? Over like 25 years since Sampras retired. I would love a Sampras documentary, a 3-part series on like Netflix or whatever. Like that, we're 25 years removed. Like it feels like The Last Dance was 30 years later, right? When they went back and they talked to all the players in their 50s. Now would be a perfect time to have a Sampras one. Don't do a Rafa one. Don't do a Federer one. We don't need that. Wait 20 years for that. We don't need those now. But we need a Sampras one. Because Sampras has been staying private for so long. But there's so much that I want to hear from him. And then you get Agassi, you get Courier, you get Roddick, right? You get Roger for that one time when he played Roger. And they can talk about that one match. Right? You get those guys. You know, you get Becker. Right? You get Connors, McEnroe, right? I think they played him, right? Like, get those guys. That would be so fun. That would be so good. I'd love that. That would be awesome. And now would be the perfect time, right? Be perfect time. Or maybe not now. Maybe in like another 5 years. That'd be great. Especially with like Agassi being in the media a lot more now, so it'd be really fun to hear him talk about the rivalry with Pete. Like you do one full episode about them, you know, about their what they thought of each other at the time, you know, how they thought, like how they, you know, because Agassi obviously got way more, you know, he was promoted more because he was the wild child, whereas Sampras was like, you know, a little bit more straightforward. So And, Agassi was, with the mullet, like the difference. Like, I'd love that. To hear them talk about each other and about that rivalry. Anyways, make it happen. Somebody out there, make it happen. We want to celebrate Pete. You know what they'll do it? They'll probably do it in 2032 when it's the 20-year anniversary of Pete's last slam. It'll be in what, 6 years they'll do it. They'll do it in 6 years. There'll be a whole episode, like a whole thing about him talking about his coach, which obviously would be hard to talk about, but like, again, like they can go back to when he was playing Courier at the Australian Open, and Sampras was clearly upset, and Courier was like, "Hey, we'll play tomorrow," and the crowd thought he was joking. But like, there's that whole thing. Like, there's just so much to Sampras that I would love to hear about, and he deserves that. He kind of gets forgotten. I feel like he doesn't really get. We talk about the big three. We talk about Borg. We don't talk about Pete. Talk about Andre more than we do Pete, Anyways, I think at least once every 6 months I talk about this. I say, let's do something about Sampras. We need a Sampras documentary. Now, all right, we got Rublev coming up next. Jump on over. Jump on over. I like that, like a 90s tribute. Yeah. Yeah, and like it gives an opportunity for all those guys to get, to come back and have a chat about their careers too, right? I mean, that's the opportunity. All right, we'll be back in maybe in like 5-10 minutes to watch Rublev taking on Zhang over in Montreal. So make sure you put on, get your passport and start speaking French. Also, Kostruk just got broken first game. Ouch. We'll keep an eye on that as well. But I'll see you guys soon. Swiatek wins 6-love, 6-3. But it wasn't easy, that second set. She had to fight for the second set. And she got it done in the end. But she's going to have to play a lot better if she takes on Vekic, potentially in the third round. But Vekic is losing. Or she's about to go down a break, so maybe not. But I'll see you guys soon. Rublev coming up next.